So I developed my own program at the University of Illinois in medical writing. And I got out into the job market, and I went into the field of job analysis, which is part of compensation and human resources at hospitals. That led to other promotions and other interesting work. But what I really found I enjoyed after several different types of work was I love budding up with people to get their stories written. So I have co-authored many books now with people, and what happens usually is that somebody has this great idea, but they know that they can't convey it. Well, I'm highly skilled in conveying people's ideas, and so the energy between us gets their book done. Now, this buddy up concept is a really, really good one, because writing is a very lonely business, and I am not a lonely person, and I am not interested in being lonely, and neither are other people. So if you want to put something together, now the current trend, of course, is ebooks, but the book that I started out with was a gentleman who dropped out of high school. He was the eldest of 9 children, and he came to me when he was 75 and said, I've always wanted to write a book since I've been an adult, but I have no writing skills. But what did he have? He was a bartender. He could tell the best stories. So we worked together to get his book done. We called it Hey Bartender. I worked with him over a year's time to develop the book. He had so many interesting stories to tell because he had gotten into Miami Vice in the 80s. The celebrities, the gangsters, the money, the sex. I mean, the guy was into it all. He should have died. But the stories that he had to tell were so fascinating that he and I had a blast developing his book. And he got his life's dream by having a finished product. He was still bartending, even though he was in his 70s, and he would use it because he had sort of become the mayor of this town in Florida. He would hand sell the book while he was doing his bartending. So he had a perfect opportunity to sell his dream book. Another person I worked with wanted to talk about how he had conquered social anxiety. He was in his 30s. He was an IT professional like Mike and some of you others. And he went to Germany, and the culture was so formal, and he's a casual, funny person, that he was in the exact wrong place. And he suffered greatly, but it made him try to figure out what he could do to ease his problem. So he was another person. He wanted to create a book that would explain to people the types of things that you need to do to conquer social anxiety. And so we came up, my contribution was to help him decide that it should be not only a personal memoir, but it should be a guidebook for others. And so we put that book together, and it's called A Life Less Anxious, and it's a published book. Most recently, I co-authored a book with a woman who in the 80s came up with the idea to do staffing of hospitals with do pharmacist staffing. So there were, there's all kinds of temporary agencies out there for different fields, but she came up with one that was unique. And she sold it for millions of dollars right before the crash in 2008. So her book was my gift to you. And it was the story of how she came up with the concept of doing temporary pharmacy staffing. And what her idea was she started out in chemistry. She married somebody. She had 2 children. She got divorced. She had to figure out how to earn money. She became a pharmacist. She had great business acumen, and in the early days, up until maybe the last 20 years, there were a lot of mom and pop pharmacies, and those people wanted to go home for 6 weeks or 2 months. So she decided, okay, I think I'll start subbing as a pharmacist, because she got too bored being a regular pharmacist. And her friends wanted that option too. They wanted to sub, and they wanted to get a huge amount of vacation time and still be able to make a good income. So she figured out how to take these in-demand professionals and essentially rent them out as contractors, and then give them the opportunity of having major vacations. So those are just some of the books that I've worked on as a co-author. I also developmental edit, but this is about you and your ideas. If you have an idea for a book and you want to do an ebook or self-publish in some way, or if you want to be connected to a publisher, I can help with that. So my name is Pat Lee, and you can look me up on the internet. I go by Patricia Alma Lee because there's so many Pat Lees out there, and one of them is not somebody that is like the exact opposite of who I'd want. So I use my Patricia Alma Lee, my whole name, because there's all these Patricia Lees, but there's just one Patricia Alma. So thank you very much, and recognize what you've got to offer people, because each of us has something special to share. Thank you.